I'd just landed back in Montana after a grueling 2-week trip to Sweden, hashing out trade deals under an alias. All I could think about was getting back to my sanctuary, a sprawling log home nestled in the Bitterroot Valley, where the air smells like pine and freedom. It was early September 2024, the kind of crisp morning that makes you feel alive, with golden cottonwood leaves flickering in the breeze. My truck hummed along the winding gravel road I'd built myself a decade ago, every curve engineered to perfection. This wasn't just land. It was my refuge, crafted with my late wife, Emily, before cancer stole her away. I could already picture the house's sturdy cedar logs, a slate chimney rising against the mountains, and the deck where we dreamed of our grandkids playing. But as I rounded the final bend, my heart stopped. Where my $3 million home should have stood, there was nothing but a jagged scar of dirt and debris. Smoke curled from a splintered beam, and the air reeked of diesel and betrayal. I parked, my boots crunching on the gravel, and stared at the wreckage. My brain refused to process it. This wasn't a fire's chaos, it was deliberate destruction. Deep excavator tracks gouged my lawn, leading to a machine parked slyly behind some pines, a flatbed truck nearby sporting a tacky magnetic sign. Silver Ridge HOA Community Compliance. My home, Emily's home, where her ashes rested beneath the hearth, was gone. Rage burned in my gut, but I'm a problem solver, not a hothead. I'm an engineer, a governor. Facts, not feelings, win wars. My phone was already in my hand, pulling up footage from my 6 solar-powered, high-def cameras, each tied to an encrypted server. The first clip, timestamped 3 days earlier, showed a guy in a neon vest taping an orange notice to my gate. Another showed a Komatsu excavator tearing up my driveway, ignoring the private property sign. By 8 a.m. the next day, a crew was laughing over coffee, calling my home a fortress, but waving a clipboard with a supposed county order. It was a lie. I'd built that house to defy blizzards and earthquakes. The footage rolled on, showing the claw ripping through Emily's favorite window, the roof collapsing, the fireplace, her final resting place, reduced to rubble. I made a silent vow to her memory. Whoever did this would pay. The Silver Ridge HOA, led by Margaret Heller, was behind it. She'd sent me letters before, whining about my unapproved flagpole or the wrong shade of my fire-resistant roof, despite my property being invisible from their subdivision. I'd ignored them because my land wasn't part of their HOA. My deed, locked in a Missoula safe deposit box, proved it. I drove to the county recorder's office, a dusty building smelling of old paper. A clerk named Susan, who knew me from my county commissioner days, pulled the plat maps and HOA incorporation papers. My 20-acre parcel was subdivided in March 2012, a full year before the HOA formed in April 2013. They had no legal claim over me. I snapped photos of the documents, the first bricks in my case. Back at the county road, I checked my mailbox and found a thick envelope from the HOA, listing $12,000 in fines for my flagpole, roof, and failure to respond. It was a paper shield for their crime. That night, in my storage unit, I laid out my arsenal: the deed, building permits, electrical certifications, and approvals for the flagpole and roof. Margaret had tried to annex my land with a fake document, assuming I'd cave or ignore her. She didn't know who she was dealing with. I wasn't just fighting for a house. I was fighting for Emily's memory, for the fireplace we'd designed together, for the promise I'd kept after she passed. The anger was cold now, sharp as a blade. I'd tear down Margaret's little empire, not with threats, but with truth. The HOA's monthly meeting was in their sterile clubhouse, all folding chairs and stale coffee. I slipped in quietly, dressed in jeans and a flannel, just another face among the bored retirees. Margaret, with her polished silver hair and clipboard scepter, ran the show like a dictator, scolding residents over mailbox colors and trash can placement. Then she announced, with a smug smile, the resolution of a compliance issue my home. She called it an abandoned eyesore, claiming I'd ignored dues and endangered the community. The room clapped politely. I stood, slow and deliberate, the chair scraping the floor. Every eye turned. "My name is Ethan Ward," I said, my voice steady. "I own the house you just destroyed. I never signed your bylaws. You had no right." The room froze. Margaret's knuckles whitened on her clipboard. She snapped that my property was annexed and demolished under a county order. I spotted a forged county letter on the bulletin board wrong font. Fake Sealand snapped a photo, subtly hitting record on my phone. I'm documenting the lies you used to destroy my home, I said. Her face twitched with panic. I walked out, leaving chaos brewing. I needed to dismantle 3 lies: her authority, her process, and her safety excuse. First, I met Tom, a retired county planner, at a Missoula diner. He studied the plat maps and confirmed my land was never part of the HOA, signing an affidavit to seal it. Next, I hired a digital forensics expert, a sharp kid named Liam, who traced the forged letter to Margaret's laptop, created at 10:37 p.m. the previous Monday. It was a felony, plain and simple. Then, I called my title company. They confirmed no liens existed. Margaret's $12,000 in fines was pure fiction. Finally, I brought in Rachel Kim, a structural engineer I'd worked with in the military. She surveyed the site, her drone capturing the devastation. The demolition had destabilized the hillside, putting the HOA's homes at risk of a landslide. Rachel's report was damning. Margaret's recklessness endangered her own community. Word of my confrontation spread, and Margaret called an emergency meeting, hoping to rally support. I sent an anonymous email to local news outlets, attaching Rachel's drone footage of the unstable slope looming over Silver Ridge. By Saturday, news vans lined the road. The clubhouse was packed, the air electric with tension. Margaret was mid-speech, preaching about community standards, when I walked to the front, holding a manila folder. "I'm Ethan Ward," I said, my voice cutting through her lies. "Your president destroyed my home illegally." I projected the plat map, showing my land's exclusion, then the title report proving no liens. I showed the forged letter next to a real one, then Liam's metadata pinning it to Margaret. The crowd gasped as I played the demolition footage, the crew joking while my home crumbled. I ended with Rachel's report, the drone footage zooming out to show the danger to their homes. "Margaret forged documents and endangered you all," I said, pausing. "And I'm the governor of Montana." The room exploded. A board member, Claire Nguyen, stood, shaking. "I told her to show the annexation papers," she said, resigning on the spot. Margaret fled through a side door, her empire collapsing. The lawsuit was surgical. My attorney, Lisa, presented 6 binders of evidence: my deed, the forged letter, Liam's analysis, Rachel's report, and a $3.2 million appraisal of my home. The HOA's lawyer had no defense. The judge, a no-nonsense woman, ruled the HOA liable for fraud, trespass, and creating a hazard. They owed $4.9 million, plus rebuilding and remediation costs. Margaret faced criminal charges for forgery and destruction of property. As the gavel fell, a bailiff cuffed her. I felt no joy, just closure. The system worked because the truth was ironclad. A year later, in September 2025, I stood on my new deck, the house rebuilt, stronger, deeper foundation, reinforced beams, triple-pane windows. The fireplace, with stones from the same quarry, held a plaque. "Emily's home, built with love, rebuilt with resolve." Her ashes rested in a vault beneath. The HOA's insurance paid out, but the fallout hit Silver Ridge hard. Dues tripled, and Claire led a revolt, uncovering Margaret's mismanagement. Residents voted 87% to dissolve the HOA, turning the clubhouse into a community hub. Margaret served 6 months, sold her home, and lost everything. I found peace with my grandkids, flying kites where excavator tracks once scarred the land. I didn't destroy a community, I freed it. They traded rules for trust, and I rebuilt Emily's dream. What would you do if someone destroyed your home, your memories, for power? Was Margaret just a petty tyrant, or did she believe she was right? Should I have shown mercy, or was justice enough? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories of truth taking down bullies.